Hello everyone, my name is Rachiella Mae Bunagan. This is my summative video report. Concept of algorithm. Algorithm is a set of instructions that comparable to a recipe that provides you the step on how to use materials and put together the ingredients to get the product such a cake. List how to write algorithm. Define the algorithm. Inputs are data to be processed. Define the variables. Variables are used to store information to be referenced and manipulated. Outline the operation. Operation are actions to processes to be carried out to accomplish a task. Outline the result. Output is the data generated after the series of operation. Concept of flowchart. Flowchart. Flowchart is a diagram that uses special symbols representing an algorithm or process. Flowchart is specifically helpful in figuring out bugs in a program before carrying it out. These are examples of flowcharts. Terminal. It indicates the start or end of the flowchart. Preparation or initialization. It is used to prepare or initialize variables. Input or output. It is used to take input, form, or display output on. Process. It represents arithmetic instruction or any data manipulation. Decision. It represents a decision point such as yes or no or true or false. On-page connector. It is used to connect a remote flowchart portion on the same page. Off-page connector. It is used to connect a remote flowchart. Flow lines. It is indicate the flow of control. Programming language. We have two programming language, the low-level language and the high-level language. Low-level programming language. They are language that have a little or no abstraction of programming concept and are very close to the machine's instruction. Example of these are machine codes and assembly language. High-level programming language. They are language that have a very high abstraction of programming concept and are written in form that is close to human language. Example of these are Java, Visual Basic, Python, and others. Overview of C++. C++ programming language is said to be combination of high-level and low-level language, hence considered a middle-level language. It was created by Barney Starstrup, a Danish computer scientist at Bell Telephone Libraries, now known as Nokia Bell Labs, in Murray Hill, New Jersey. Originally, C++ known as C with classes, which meant a superset of C programming language. Starship's goals was to add object-oriented programming in C++ language. It was in 1983 where C with classes changed to C++, where plus plus truly means one higher than C. To date, C++ is still one of the most popular programming language according to the TIOBE Index latest study of 2019. Uses of C++. Operating system. Operating systems such as Microsoft and few parts of an Apple operating system are developed using C++. Browser. Browsers such as Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox, particularly the redirecting engines, are developed using C++ simply because of their speed it offers. Libraries. High-level libraries are also developed using C++. For machine libraries, such as TensorFlow, C++ is particularly used in backend because of its speed. Graphics. In graphics application, fast rendering is a requirement which makes C++ the best choice. Specifically, C++ is used in the backend of software that utilize computer vision, digital image processing, and high-end graphical processing. Databases. Databases software are open source database software such as MySQL and PostGres are written in C++. Those two popular bases are used in YouTube, Aurora, etc. Embedded system. Different embedded systems, such as smartwatches, are written in C++. The fact that C++ is close to machine codes compared to high-level language. Compiler. The most of the compilers, such as compilers of C, hash, sign, and Java are also written in C++. Media access. C++ is also used of creating a media player, managing video files and audio files, such as a WinMap media player. Cloud or distributed system. Cloud storage system and another distributed system also use C++ because it is compatible with several machines. Telephone switches. C++ is also widely used in programming telephone switches and routers. Integrated development for C++. An integrated development environment is a software application that provides comprehensive facilities to programmers for software development. IDEs normally consist of source code editor, build automation tools, and debugger. Some IDE supports a single language while others support various languages. Using Dev C++ for Windows. Dev C++ installation. Download Dev C++ in this link. Second, click the Operate Download button. Wait until downloading of the files is successful. Double-click the downloaded file and then follow the instruction. Dev C++ Setup. First, open Dev C++. This directs you to the home page of Dev C++ as shown below. Second, by the default, the most recent version of C++ is not enabled. Hence, it must be explicitly enabled. Do the following. A. Click Tools, go to Compiler option. B. Click Settings and Code Generation. Under the language standard, select ISO C++11. Coding in Dev C++. You are now ready to program in Dev C++. Do the following. First, click Files, New, Source File. Source code editor appears as shown below. Type the sample of C++ program below. 3. Save the sample C++ program by clicking File, Save As. Use Welcome as file name. Make sure that the file type is C++ source files. Then click Save. 4. To view the output, you must compile and run the sample program. To compile and run the program, do any of the following. First, click Execute, compile and run. Or, second, press F11. You should be able to see the outputs as shown below. 5. Close the output window or simply press any key to go back the source code editor. Try deleting the semicolon located at the end of line 6. 6. Press F11 to compile and run the program. Note that the compile catches error. This generates warning or errors message so you can easily recognize and correct the problem. Warnings or errors messages are displayed in the compiler window as shown below. When the compiler is unsuccessful, check the error message as this will give you a hint on what is wrong in your program. Number 7. Bring back the semicolon and then compile and run the program again. This will give you a 0 errors and warnings. Using CXX Droid for mobile phones. You can use CXX Droid to program in C++ using Android phones. CXX Droid installation. To start programming in C++, you may have to first install the CXX Droid in your mobile phones. Just search CXX Droid in the Play Store, then tap Install. After the installation, click Open. After the installation of CXX Droid, this brings you to the source code editor plus the menu in the title bar and the play button as shown below. Coding in CXX-Droid. In CXX-Droid, there is no need to set up anything anymore. You can immediately start coding. To code, do the following. Second, click the play button to view the output. This displays the output as shown below. Try editing the sample code you have previously encoded into. Save the files and then run the program. See if you have the same output as shown below. Basic element of C++. The sample program given below present the basic structure and the syntax of the C++ program. Line 1. When you see the hash sign, this means it is preprocessing directive that it is interrupted before the compilation of the program begins. In the given program, the directive hashtag include iOS instruct the processor using the header iOS to display I love C++ to the screen. iOS is the precompiled C++ code that handles input and output operations. Line 2. The line using namespace std tells the compiler to use the std namespace. The count is the part of the standard library, and all the elements in the standard C++ library are declared within what is called namespace. The namespace std. When this line is used, you don't need to use std anymore. Everything you use count, just like the statement below. Line 3. White space. It is the return used to describe blanks, tabs, new line characters, and comments. White space in C++ is totally ignored by the compiler. For this reason, it does not matter where you put a statement in a line. Hence, the given program is the same as line 4. The line int main is the special function in all C++ program where execution begins. Line 5 and line 8. The curly bracket determine the start and the end of the block. A block in C++ is a set of logical connected statements. Line 6. This line is a single line comment available in C++ which is ignored by the compiler. Single line comments begin with double slash and stop at the end of the line. You can use them to include short explanation or observation concerning your program. For manipulate line comments, slash asterisk and asterisk slash are used such as line 7. This line is a C++ statement. A statement consists of expression, function, operators, or symbols that produce effect. In the given statement, count means C, character, out is output. A function in C++ that display the message within the double quotation mark on the screen. The symbol in this C++ is called the insertion operator to indicate what to output. All statements in C++ must be determined with a semicolon. Variables. Variables are reserved memory locations for storing values. Each variable needs a name that identifies it and distinguishes it from the others. This is termed as identifier. A C++ identifier is a name used to identify not only variables, but also functions, classes, modules, or any other user-defined items. The C++ program does not need to know the exact location where variable is stored. It can simply refer to it by its name. Is a sequence of one or more letters, digit or underscore characters, spaces, punctuation marks, and symbols cannot be part of an identifier. Always begin with a letter or underscore. Identifier beginning with underscore are usually considered reserved for compiler-specific keywords or external identifiers. Is case sensitive. which means that an identifier written in capital letters is not equivalent to another one with the same name but written in small letters. Example, identifiers A, number underscore 1, sum, or average. Constant and literals. Constant are fixed values that the program may not alter. These fixed values are called literals. Constant are just like regular variables, except that their values cannot be modified after their definition. Here's a list of different literals in C++ programming. A. Integers. An integers is numeric literals which can be a decimal, octal, or hexadecimal constant. In C++ programming, octal is start with AO and hexadecimal starts with A0x. For example, B. Floating point literals. A floating point is a numeric literals that has either fractional form or an exponent form. For example, C. Character. A character literal is created by enclosing a single character inside single quotation mark. For example, escape sequence. Escape sequence are characters that cannot be typed or has a special meaning in C++ programming. For example, E. String literals. String literals are a sequence of characters enclosed in a double quotation mark. For examples, basic elements of C++. In C++, input and output are performed in streams, or what we call sequence of bytes. It is called input stream if the flow of byte is from the device to the main memory, where output stream if the flow of byte is from the main memory to the device. To perform the basic input and output operation, the header file used is IOStream. For the standard output count is used together with the insertion operation. For examples, for the standard input, sin is used together with the extraction operator. For example, the statement above allows the user to enter an input. The input will only be transmitted to the program when the enter key is pressed. B. C++ operators. Operators are used to perform mathematical or logical operations. Here is the list of some important operators used in C++. From greatest to smallest priority, C++ operator mentioned above the evaluated in the following order. The if statement is a single selection statement used in C++ to execute a block of statement only when the condition is true. The syntax is or if the block contains several statements, then the syntax is where if is the keyword used for selection control statement. Take note that the keyword used lowercase letter. Condition is the expression that is being evaluated which make use of relational operations. Block of statement is the group of statement that is executed when the condition is true. If the condition is false, the block of statement is ignored. Take a look at the sample code fragment below. Assuming that n equals to 8, then the condition gets true. Hence, the output will be the number is less than 10. Otherwise, the statement will be completed ignored and the output will be the number is more than or equal to 10. Nested if and if else statement. Nested if and if else statement are statements that makes use of if or else if statement inside the another if or else if statements. The syntax for the nested if statement is: the inner if will be executed when the condition underscore 1 is true. Otherwise, the inner if will be ignored. The block of a statement in the inner if will be executed when the condition underscore 2 is true. Otherwise, it will be completely ignored too. When the code fragment above is evaluated, the string given in the count statement will be displayed since the first x double equal 5 and the second y double equal 10 condition are true. Take note that the operator used in the condition is double equal and not equal dot equal. Is an assignment operator that is used to assign the value of a variable or expressions, while double equal is an equal to operator and it is a relation operator used to comparison. The switch statement is another selection control statement used in C++. It is used to select one of the block of a statement to be executed based from the value of the expression when tested in each case. The syntax is: where switch is a keyword for the switch statement. Expression is the one of the evaluated and compared with the values of each case. Case is a keyword for the case statement. Constant or expression must be constant or literal that has the same data type with the variable in the switch statement. Break is a keyword which terminates the switch statement and jumps to the statement immediately following the switch. Default. It is a keyword that's optional which is used when there is no match from the given cases. The code after the default will be executed. For example, when the code fragment above is evaluated, let us assume that the value of x is b. The first case will be tested. Since the value of the case, which is a, does not match the value of the variable of x, it goes to the second case. Since the second case matches the value of variable which is b, then very good will be displayed and jumps to the statement immediately following the switch because of the break statement. The statement following the switch is the count statement, hence done will be displayed. The for loop syntax is where initialization is where you declare the initial value of your variables. Condition is where you set a condition which, when satisfied, the loop is executed. Otherwise, the for loop is terminated. Increment or decrement is where you set updates on the value of your variable, either it increment or decrement. Repetition control statement. Our topic is for statement, while statement, and do while statement. For statement, reiteration control statement, otherwise called loop statement. There are three types of loop statement in C++, namely for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Specifically, for loop is used when you know exactly the number of times you want to loop through a block of code. Reiteration control statement, otherwise called loop, are a statement that allows repeat execution of blocks of codes until a particular condition is satisfied. For instance, when you displayed a word 100 times, instead of using the print statement 100 times, you may use loop, which is use few lines of codes. The flow of execution of for loop is shown below. It starts with initialization of variable, which is executed only once. It then goes to the condition, where it is evaluated whether or not it's true or false. If the condition is false, the for loop terminated. If the condition is true, execute the block of codes. After every execution of block of codes, the increment and decrement part of the for loop is executed, which update the loop counter, after which it goes back to the condition part where it re-evaluated. The while loop is another type of loop statement in C++. It is used only when the number of times you want to loop are not exactly known. The syntax is where while is a keyword for the while loop statement. Condition is where you set condition which when satisfied, the loop is executed. Otherwise, the while loop is terminated. Block of statement is a body of the loop that execute when the condition is met. The flow of execution of while loop is shown below. It is start with initialization of variable, which is execute only once, which is similar to the for loop. It then goes to the condition where it evaluates whether not it is true or false. If the condition is false, the while loop terminated. If the condition is true, it is execute the block of a statement. The increment and decrement part, which is the part of the block of a statement, when execute updates the loop counter, after which it goes back to the condition part where it's true evaluated. The do-while loop is another type of loop statement in C++. It is also used to iterate a block of a statement several times. Specifically, do-while loop is used if the number of iteration is not fixed. The block of a statement is executed at least once. Since the conditions is checked after the block of a statement, the do-while loop syntax is where do and while are the keyword of use in the loop. Condition is where you set condition which when satisfied, the loop is executed. Otherwise, the loop is terminated. Block of statement. It is the body of the loop that is executed once and is executed again as long as the condition is met. The flow of execution of do while loop is shown below. It is start with initialization of variable, which is executed only once, which is similar to the for loop. After which, it executes the blocks of a statement and then goes to the condition, where it evaluates whether not it is true or false. If the condition is false, the do while loop is terminated. If the condition is true, it is execute the block of a statement again. The increment and decrement is part of the block of a statement, which is when execute updates of the loop counter, after which it goes back to the condition part where it re-evaluated. Function. Our topic is C++ library and user-defined function. A function is a block of a statement that performs a specific task which can only executed when it's code. It is also known as a method or a subroutine or a procedure. These is our examples. User-defined function. C++ also allows you to create your own function to perform a specific action beside the predefinition available in the standard library. This kind of function is called user-defined function. User-defined function is important when you want to use block of a statement anytime within the program. The syntax is where return type is a data type of the value of function return. Function name is the name given to the function. Parameter list, one or more parameters where value are passed. A parameter consists of a type followed by identifier. Block of a statement are a group of statements that define what function performs. In order for the declared function to perform its task, you will have to call or invoke the function. The syntax calling a function is where function name is the name of function you are calling. Parameter list. One or more parameter used to be passed on the function. A parameter consists of a type followed by the identifier, If they are more than one parameter, then each parameter is separated from the next by the comma. Parameters are, however, optional, which means a function may contain no parameters. Normally, all user-defined functions are declared after the main function, or else an error will be occur. To have a better grasp of function, let us categorize them into function with no parameters and no return values, function with no parameter but with return value, function with parameters but no return value, function with parameters and return value. Let's start first category. The sample program below demonstrates the use of a function with parameters and return value. Function with parameters but no return value. In this previous lesson, sample functions were present having no parameters and no return values, as well as having no parameter but with return values. This time, let's talk about function with parameter but no return values. Remember that parameter are actually variables that are used to hold values of argument passed while the function is called. Both parameter and argument must have the same data type to avoid errors. The sample program has a function named gateName. The gateName function has a void type. Hence, the function is expected not to return any value. The parenthesis beside the function name is not empty anymore, which means the function had a parameter which is string fn. At line 14, the function gateName is invoked and has an argument, fname. An argument is a variable whose value is passed on the parameter. In this example, the input from the user that is stored in the fname is passed on the parameter of function gateName, which is fn. With this fn, now is a value of equal to the value of fname. Function with parameters and return value. This time, let's talk about function with parameters and return values. Always remember that both parameter and argument must have the same data type to avoid errors. When using this function category, take a look of the sample program below. In the given program, the function gateName has a string type, which means that it returns a string value. At line 16, the function gateName is invoked and has an argument fname. In this example, any input from the user that is stored in the fname is passed on the parameter of function gateName, which is fn. With this, fn is now equal to the value of fname. In the body of the function gateName, a string value greet is declared. At line 7, the value of fn is connected with the string hello and is assigned to a variable greet. At line 8, the value of greet is returned. The control goes back to the line 16 where the value of greet is displayed. A sample output of the program is recursive function. Function is also specifically helpful when performing tasks repeatedly. This method is called recursion. To do this using functions, you may have to use recursive functions. Recursive function is a function that calls itself, where my function is a recursive function that is called over and over again. Recursion in the function continues until the condition is met. When using recursive function, you have to take extra careful to avoid an infinite recursion. This can be done using the if-else statement. Below is a popular example in recursive function that computes for the fractional of an input integer. Factorial means the product of all positive integers less than or equal to n. For example, the factorial of 5 is 1x times 2x, 3x, 4x, 5, which is equal to 120. The sample program has recursive function which continue Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy.